ectoparasites on some fishes, meaning they cling on to or hold on to the body of other fishes and then start feeding on those fishes for their nutrition. The larva completely develops into an adult organism. After they become an adult organism, they will return to the ocean. Cyclostomata are the vertebrates which do not have jaws and therefore they are placed under Agnatha. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to the session on first PUC Biology. I am Dr. Divya, Biology faculty, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. So in this session, let us learn about class Cyclostomata under the subphylum Vertebrata under phylum Chordates. In this session, let us learn about the characteristics of class Cyclostomata and then move into learning about some of the MCQs under this particular topic. So class Cyclostomata, as I told you, they come under the subphylum Vertebrata, wherein vertebrates are those organisms that possess a notochord only in their embryonic stage. Later on, when they grow into an adult, the notochord gets replaced by a bony or a cartilaginous vertebral column, which is nothing but a backbone. And these class Cyclostomata, they come under Agnatha. That is Agnatha, wherein those are the organisms which do not have jaws. So such organisms are placed under Agnatha. So, and these Cyclostomata, though they look like a fish, to see, if you can see here, they exactly look like a fish. The black one, they exactly look like a fish, but in spite of that, they are not placed under other classes, that is along with fish. The reason is because they are ectoparasites and they lack scales and they also lack jaws, and they also don't have paired fins. They have fins, but it is not paired. And they are, as I told you, they are ectoparasites on some fishes, meaning they cling on to or hold on to the body of other fishes and then start feeding on those fishes for their nutrition. And if you see their mouth, you can see they have suckers. So suckers act like suction. So it can just go and suction itself onto the body of the fishes and derive nutrition from those particular fishes. And they have an elongated body, that is a very long slender body, and in that body they have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. They have gill slits because these are aquatic, wherein they live in marine habitat, feed on the body of other fishes, therefore they need gills for respiration. And the cyclostomes, as I told you, they have a sucking and circular mouth, wherein inside the mouth they don't have any jaws, and also they lack teeth. Why? Because they don't need teeth, because they don't feed on other organisms, but what they do is they act like parasites, wherein they cling on to the body of other organisms and then derive nutrition from them. So that is why they have suction like mouth, which is called as suckers. And their body doesn't have any scale, it is devoid of scales, and they don't have paired fins. They have two fins at the dorsal surface of their body, but at the ventral surface they do not have. Like fishes, how they have two pairs of fins, right? These do not have, they have only two fins at the top. And their cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. So cartilaginous is a soft bone. So they also have a notochord and they have a covering, a skull that covers their head, which is cartilaginous or made up of soft bones. And the circulation is of closed type, that is the heart has arteries, veins and capillaries which are connected to specific organs, and the blood travels to these organs through these arteries, capillaries and veins. So therefore it is a closed type of circulatory system. Cyclostomes, their habitat, they are marine, that is they live in oceans and seas and they migrate for spawning. So they can live in fresh water also. But when do they live in fresh water? Only during the time of spawning or during the time of or season of laying eggs. So when they reach their age of laying eggs, they move to the fresh waters, and once they move to the fresh water, they lay the eggs in the fresh water. The young ones will come up, and as soon as the adults lay the egg, they will die. And the young ones, once they become an adult, they'll come back to the oceans and the seas, that is to the marine environment. So after spawning, Within a few days, the cyclostomes which laid eggs, they die, and only their larva, they'll undergo metamorphosis. So metamorphosis is the larva completely develops into an adult organism. After they become an adult organism, they will return to the ocean. Again, these organisms during the season of spawning, they'll go to the fresh waters, they will lay the eggs. Those organisms which laid the eggs will die, and the young ones will again go, after they become the adult, they'll go back to the ocean. This continues. So this is one of the characteristic feature of cyclostome, wherein the adult cyclostome, soon after laying eggs or soon after spawning, they die. So some of the examples of cyclostomes, it is petromyzon, which is also called as lamprey. So this is petromyzon. And one more is myxin, which is also called as hagfish. So if you can see here, I told you they lack paired fins. So only one fin here is present and the second fin is present. The third and the fourth fin is not there. If it had paired fins, one more fin should have been here and one more here, right? So but they don't have. That is why they lack paired fins, and if you can see, their body is exactly slimy, with covered entirely by slimy skin, and they do not have scales. Scales are absent in their entire body. Scales are absent. And if you can see, they have gill slits. Gill slits. How many are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on this side, and therefore 7 on the other side also. Therefore 14. So I told you they can have 8 to 16 gill slits, right? So here 14 gill slits totally, or 7 pairs of gill slits we can say. So this is about the cyclostomata, with wherein two examples, petromyzon, which is also called as lamprey, and myxin, which is also called as hagfish. So this was about cyclostomata. So cyclostomata, I told you, they are placed under the subphylum, phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata. Under Vertebrata, they are placed under Agnatha, that is those organisms which do not have jaws, and under Agnatha, we have the class, only class that is present is cyclostomata, wherein the main characteristic is they do not have jaws, therefore they don't have teeth. They have suckers, and they are ectoparasites, and their body doesn't have scales. That is why they are not placed under chondrichthyes nor osteichthyes. If they showed all those characters, they would have placed it under chondrichthyes and osteichthyes, because they don't have that, and they lack paired fins. Paired fins are absent in them. So these are the peculiar characteristics which of these particular organisms. So next, let's look into some of the MCQs. Which is not a characteristic feature of cyclostomata? Again, here be careful. What did I ask? Not a characteristic feature. Is it ectoparasites on fishes? Is it 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits? They are ectoparasites on fishes. We learned, right? They go and suction themselves onto the body of the fishes and derive nutrition from those fishes, eventually killing them. Ecto means outside. So therefore, they are ectoparasites on fishes. Hence, this is not the right answer. Next is they have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. Yes, they do have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slit, wherein we took an example wherein I showed you 7 pairs of gill slits were present. So therefore, this is also not the right answer. Next is sucking circular mouth with jaws. Don't get confused here just by reading. Whenever in the exam, be patient while reading the questions and the answers or the options that are given. Why? Because what most of you will do is you'll just read this. Okay, sucking circular mouth. Of course, that has a sucking circular mouth. So you'll just mark C. But what is there here with jaws? Can you see here? Are these organisms with jaws? No, they come under Agnatha, wherein they are the organisms which do not have jaws. They are jawless. So what did I give here? Sucking circular mouth with jaws. So always don't read this portion in a haste and then say, okay, this might be the answer and mark it. It will go wrong because I have written here with jaws. So if I had asked the question, which is a characteristic feature of cyclostomata, then you have to be very careful. Now here, Sucking circular mouth with jaws. This is not a characteristic feature. Therefore, option C is the right answer because these organisms do not have jaws. And body is devoid of scales or body lacks scales. They do not have scales. So, therefore, this is also not the right answer because all the three, that is A, B and D, are the characteristic feature of cyclostomata, whereas C is not a characteristic feature because sucking circular mouth, of course they have, but I've given here with jaws. They do not have jaws. So C is the right answer here. Second one, vertebrates without jaws are placed under dash: cyclostomata, chondrichthyes, osteichthyes, amphibia. Chondrichthyes, they have jaws, but the teeth are directed backwards, so this is not the right answer. Osteichthyes also have jaws, amphibians also have jaws. It is cyclostomata are the vertebrates which do not have jaws and therefore they are placed under agnatha. So therefore, cyclostomata is the right answer here. So next question, dash is an example for jawless vertebrata. Is it scoliodon? Scoliodon is a shark which comes under chondrichthyes. No, they have jaws. It's not the right answer. Petromyzon is the right answer because petromyzon comes under chondrichthyes and petromyzon is also called as lamprey. Instead of petromyzon, they can give the option here as lamprey. So this is the right answer. Hippocampus, it is seahorse which comes under osteichthyes. So this is not the right one. Pristis, rayfish, this is also not the right one. It comes under chondrichthyes. So therefore, dash is an example for jawless vertebrata. It is petromyzon. Rest of the three have jaws. So that is why petromyzon is the right answer. Instead of petromyzon here, they can also give myxin because myxin is also an example for a jawless vertebrate. You have to be careful there. Or one more name for myxin is hagfish. So they can give these options also. You have to be careful. For whatever it is, all these options are also correct here. Cyclostomata placed under division dash, under agnatha, under gnathostomata, under chondrichthyes, under osteichthyes. Under agnatha because agnatha are jawless. The jawless vertebrates are placed under agnatha, under division agnatha. Gnathostomata, those have jaws. They have jaws. Those which have jaws are placed under gnathostomata. Chondrichthyes, first of all, chondrichthyes is not an order. Chondrichthyes is a class under subphylum Vertebrata and chondrichthyes come under the order Gnathostomata and osteichthyes also they come under the order Gnathostomata wherein they are the vertebrates which have jaws. Therefore, Agnatha is the right answer here, that is option A. Next question. For spawning, adult cyclostomates move to, where do they move to? To marine waters. Now again here don't get confused. You know that their habitat is marine. They live in oceans and seas. Thinking that, don't just put the answer as option A. It will be wrong. Read the question properly. For spawning, that is for laying eggs, the adult cyclostomes, they migrate, right? Where do they migrate to? Where do they move to? Is it marine waters? No, because they live in marine waters, but during the time of spawning, they don't stay in the marine waters. They move somewhere. So that is not the right answer. Oceans, no. Again, oceans are also marine. No. Land, no. They can't move to the land because they can't breathe. Eventually, they'll die. Fresh water, yes, this is the right answer because they move to fresh water for spawning. Once they lay the eggs, the adults will die and the young ones that come out, that is the larvae, they will metamorphosize into an adult and they'll return back to the marine water. So therefore, fresh water is the right answer here. Next question. Dash is a characteristic feature of cyclostomata. So they have two pairs of limbs. No, two pairs of limbs are found in amphibians, in reptilia and in the case of mammalia, some of the mammals, but not in cyclostomata. Cyclostomata do not have limbs. So what is the question here? Dash is a characteristic. I have to search here, find out here which is the characteristic feature. It is not which is not the characteristic feature. We are searching here for the characteristic feature. They have two pairs of limbs. Open type circulatory system? No, because cyclostomes have closed type circulatory system. This is also wrong. This is also wrong. Cartilaginous cranium? That is the right answer because they have a cranium, or their skull portion is cartilaginous, that is made up of soft bone. So that is also the right answer. Have paired fins. No, that is the wrong answer because they have fins, but only thing is the fins is not paired. So they have paired fins. That is the wrong answer. So cartilaginous cranium is the right answer because out of these characteristics which they do not have, it is option C which is the characteristic they have. So this is about class cyclostomata. So this was about the session wherein we learnt about the characteristics of class cyclostomata and also looked into some of the MCQs that can be framed in exam point of view under this particular topic. So I hope you understood this session. We shall meet again in the coming session talking about a new topic under subphylum vertebrata and shall discuss some of the MCQs under it. So meet you in the next session. Thank you.